Hello YouTube. This is the final video until Thanksgiving break. You'll have better audio on my videos because at home there's like no echo in my room, so that's awesome. But today we're going to be talking about the 1990 American monster comedy horror film directed by Ron Underwood, produced by Brent Maddock, and it has Kevin Bacon in it. That's like the big star, that's the big money grab for this movie. And yeah, we're just going to get into the plot, the review. I got to pack my bags to go home. I got to freaking calc exam today. Yikes. And yeah, that'll be that. This movie's really interesting. I mean, the graboid's like a brand new creature to the horror world. I guess it's kind of cool. They actually drew like an anatomy of it after like the film was made. I thought that was kind of cool. But this follows Valentine Val McKee and Earl Bassett as handymen working in Perfection, Nevada, an isolated settlement in the high desert east of the Sierra Nevada mountains. They eventually get tired of their jobs and leave for Bixby, the nearest town. This is like the big break for them. This is the place where they're going to get a better job, build up a life. And yeah, but as they leave, they discover the dead body of another resident, Edgar Deems, perched atop an electrical tower, still grasping the tower's crossbeams in his rifle, which isn't really that realistic, but fuck it, we'll include it in the film anyway. It's movies, it's Hollywood, right? We can be as unrealistic or as realistic as we'd like to be. Jim Wallace, the town's doctor, determines that Edgar died of dehydration, apparently having been too afraid to climb down. And this is a really small town. There's 14 people. You pretty much know every character in this film. You pretty much know every resident that is a part. So like you have Val, you have Earl, you have the doctor, you have Edgar that died. That's 4 characters already, and we're barely even getting started. So yeah. So later on, an unseen creature kills Shepherd Fred. That's 5. I'll write it down. We know all the characters. That's 5 of the characters already. He kills Shepherd Fred and his flock of sheep. So Val and Earl discover his severed head and believe that a serial killer is on the loose, not a monster. They think at first that this is a killer. So 2 construction workers, they're probably not a part of Perfection, which is a very hilarious town name. But they ignore Val and Earl's warning and are killed by the same creature, causing a rock slide to take over the road that leads to Bixby, which is how Val and Earl are planning on getting their escape. So Val and Earl try to find help after warning the residents, but find the phone lines are dead and that the rock slide has blocked the only road out of town. Out of sight, a snake-like creature wraps itself around their truck's rear axle, but is torn apart when Val stomps on the accelerator and drives away, and is discovered when they return to town. So they find this weird eel/snake-looking creature on this truck, and they're like, well, we might have just had like a scientific breakthrough. We might have just found some crazy-ass creature here with this. So Val and Earl borrow horses to ride to Bixby for help. They need to ride away, try to find people that can help them with this creature and to get like a higher force to take them out. So they come upon Wallace and his wife's buried station wagon near their trailer. His wife is another character, that's 6. But the couple is missing, having been killed the previous night, obviously. And that scene was shown, I didn't really talk about it, but yeah. So as they press on, an enormous burrowing worm-like monster suddenly erupts out of the ground, revealing the snake-like creature to be one of the worm's many tentacled tongues. So this is a lot more massive, a lot more of a larger magnitude on a scale than they would ever have imagined. Like they thought, it was just this like eel thing that like wrapped around my truck and tried to like stop the truck or whatever. No, that's just a tongue. It's an interesting looking creature too, man. I mean, people are pretty creative. Like I have to give it to them. This isn't an amazing movie or anything, but they're really creative in making this creature. So, thrown from their horses, the men flee with the monster in pursuit. The chase ends when the eyeless creature crashes through the concrete wall of an aqueduct, dying from the impact. Rhonda Lebec, who isn't a member of the community, she's a graduate student conducting seismology tests in the area, stumbles onto the scene. She deduces from previous readings that 3 other worms are in the area. So Rhonda, Val, and Earl become trapped overnight atop a cluster of boulders near one of the worms and surmise that the creatures hunt their prey by detecting seismic vibrations, which is kind of ironic because obviously she is studying seismology, and they've noticed that there's some like interesting things going around here, and it's caused by the creature because it pretty much looks like platonic plates and like rumblings in the ground. So obviously the seismograph is going to be changing. The trio then find some discarded poles and use them to pole vault over to nearby boulders, eventually reaching around his truck and escaping. So after the three return to town, the worms attack and kill general store owner Walter Chang, another character. He's like this Asian store owner. He's just like the local store guy. You go and get your food, you get everything from here, forcing everyone to hide on the town's various rooftops. Meanwhile, survivalist couple Bert and Heather Gummer, those are two more characters, managed to kill one of the creatures after unwittingly luring it to their basement armory. So, in town, the two remaining worms attack the building foundations, knocking over a trailer belonging to Nestor, another character in the film, before dragging him under and devouring him. Realizing they cannot stay in the town any longer, Earl, Rhonda, and Miguel is another character. I'm just counting up because I have exactly the number of characters. So they distract the monsters while Val commandeers a track loader and chains a semi-trailer to the rear. The survivors use it to try to escape through it to a nearby mountain range. En route, both worms create a sinkhole trap that disables the track loader, and the survivors flee to some nearby boulders for safety. Earl then has an idea to lure in the worms and trick them into swallowing Bert's homemade pipe bombs. The strategy successfully kills one worm, but the last one spits a bomb back towards the survivors, forcing them to disperse as the explosion destroys all but one of the remaining bombs. And wow, how plot convenient is that they included that in the film. So Val lures the final worm into chasing him to the edge of a cliff, and then explodes the remaining bomb behind it, frightening the worm to charging through the cliff face, where it plummets to its death into the rocks below. So these are pretty strong characters, but obviously explosives, falling off a cliff, all these things can obviously kill it, So the group returns to town where they call on the authorities to begin an investigation while Earl encourages Val to pursue a romantic relationship with Rhonda. I mean, this movie really has everything you need in it. It has that love story. It has a small town where you know all the characters. And by the way, like the other three characters are Melvin, Nancy, and Mindy, I believe. That's 14. Those are the 14 members of the town. And it's funny, man, that you can actually just name the characters on the screen. And it is really cool that a lot of the characters get screen time. I think that's awesome. A large cast can always make for some interesting personality to a movie. It's not bad. I think, with that being said, we can just get into the review so we can fully kind of give my thoughts on this thing. So just quickly talking about my thoughts for the film. This isn't going to be a long video. It's not that I don't give a shit about this film. I think it's a pretty dope film. I mean, it's very unique, probably for its time, I would assume. It's good, man. I think it's pretty good. It's got a diverse cast. It's got pretty dope humor. It's not bad. I mean, it's an affectionate throwback to 1950s creature features. Tremors reinvigorates its genre tropes with a finely balanced combination of horror and humor. The comedy part element, whatever you want to call it, has definitely kind of grasped the attention of its audience. It's not bad. I mean, horror comedies often tread too far to one side or the other of that fine line. Tremors walks like a damn tightrope. It's one of the more successful horror comedies I've seen out there. It's almost like a guilty pleasure film. I mean, Tremors succeeds in the fact that it's put its focus on fun characters instead of the creature attacking them. It's a goofy, dumb, fun movie. It's nice. I mean, if you're watching with your family or like a group of friends, maybe. I don't know if certain groups of friends would enjoy this, but family for sure. If you're watching this with your family, you can get some pretty fun enjoyment. There's some funny jokes in there. It's not bad. Tremors is the slacker of monster movies. Bemused, improvisatory, willfully low-key. The film's a delightful throwback that evokes the populist spirit of 50s B-movies. It's really interesting. I mean, this movie came out in 1990, but it looks like it was from like the 60s or the 70s, So yeah, I mean, it's effectively terrifying when it needs to be, effectively exciting when it needs to be, and effectively hilarious when it needs to be. Tremors may very well be one of the best horror slash action slash comedy films all put together. It's like a damn near perfect hybrid to me. It's very well cast, with Fred Ward and Kevin Bacon proving affable and enjoyable comedy leads. The special effects are first rate. It may not top anyone's best list ever, but Tremors is pretty solid entertainment, man. I mean, the film was more fun to make than it is to watch, probably. I mean, I'll say that. It has a few clever twists and characters. You're not really sure. Just some cons. You're not really sure what it wants to be. Does it want to be funny? Does it want to be scary? Does it want to be an action film with like high stakes and high intensity? You don't really know. A little of it goes an awfully long way. There's so many tricks you can do with the worms. I don't know. I don't really have too many bad things to say about it. I'm not going to say it's like the best movie I've ever seen in my life, but like I'm not going to say it's a bad movie too. It's perfectly acceptable. It's perfectly plausible. It's fine. I mean, damn, why is there hair like right in front of my eyes? But anyways, that is the last video we are going to be doing before Thanksgiving break. I'm going home for the holiday, obviously. I got a fucking test here in like 2.5 hours, but I'm gonna be getting this video put together, put out to you guys. Go pack my bags, probably go watch some Ozark, you know, if I have time. Yeah, there's football on tonight. NBA's on tonight. We're gonna be doing a recap stream later on. I'll probably be streaming damn near every night too, on Twitch, GZTV Live on Twitch, all lowercase. But I'm out, guys. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I really like the support. Really appreciate the support we're getting on that James Harden video. We've grown like 3 subscribers in the last day too. We're up to 192. I think we've grown like 15 subs just off the James Harden video, and that video is damn near reaching 3K. Reach it by the end of the day. I'd really appreciate that, guys. Thank you, guys. I'm out.